diamonds in the rough. NFL Draft Diamonds. Time to shine.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and today I have with me Tyshon Fogg. He's a linebacker out of University of Rutgers. How's your day going, buddy?
It's good, man. It's definitely good. Being down here in Florida, good weather, everything is going well.
Yeah, I mean, I was down there. The weather was all great, and then you come up home and it's like 25 degrees. It really sucks up here, but
Yeah, terrible.
you know,
I know in
uh,
Jersey with all that snow, so
Yeah.
definitely something.
Well, I mean, live it up while you can, while you're down there for sure. So, Tyshawn, nice to sit down with you, talk to you about you and your journey. Why don't you kind of, start us out a little bit? Give us like a backdrop. Tell me maybe where you're from and how you got there to Rutgers.
Right. So I was born in Asbury Park, New Jersey, and I kind of started playing football at the age of 8 years old for the Asbury Park Pop Warner organization. I started off as a tight end actually, and I was an offensive type of guy. But later down the road, possibly, I think in like fifth grade, I moved to Maryland, and that's when I continued my football journey. But it was just things was a little bit different there in Maryland. The whole vibe and everything was way different than it was in New Jersey. But I blended in well. Things went really smoothly, and I kind of been there ever since. But while playing football in Maryland, I went to high school at Calvert Hall, which is in Baltimore, Maryland as well. And I always like felt like, oh, I miss Jersey. I miss seeing my family. I wanted the rest of my family to be able to see me play. So I was like, I was going on trips to Stanford all the way in Palo Alto. I was going all the way down to Florida to take visits, Texas and everywhere. But I'm like, these places are cool, but at the end of the day, like, what is it if my family can't see me play? So I decided to commit to Rutgers University, and it was a great decision. Even to today, I definitely feel like that was the right decision for me, and it's been a wonderful career at Rutgers, and I'm glad I made that decision to stay home so my family could see me play.
So yeah, I mean, obviously, staying in Rutgers there a little bit, and like you had said before, I mean, kind of started out kind of on the offensive side of things when you were a youngin, but past really several years, you've been a linebacker. So talk to me about you as a linebacker, maybe a little bit of your strengths as a player, and maybe what separates you as a prospect.
Right. The linebacker position is actually something I started in high school. When I first came in, I actually came in as a receiver and a free safety. And as you see, things kind of changed quickly as my like frame went to 6 foot, 180, 175 to 6'2", 240 pounds. Like I don't know any safeties of receiver that way. But I started to transition to that position, and honestly, I fell in love. My football IQ started to get better. Just recognizing certain formations and things that just get me to the play faster, being able to be the leader of the defense, and just to have the ability to go sideline to sideline and accumulate tackles, and just be able to be the leader of the defense, the energy. I fell in love with the position, and I continued to play the Will and Mike position in college, and I never looked back from there. Just the position of linebacker is really exciting. It's something that I gained a lot of knowledge from. It's a position that I study constantly, guys in the league and guys in different positions as I am in today. I love the position.
So, give me just a little something. I mean, you said that you study guys like at the next level. Like, who are you a fan of, or who do you maybe study at your position?
I study a lot of guys. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say a fan, but I study a lot of guys. Darius Leonard, Bobby Wagner, Hicks. It's a lot of guys in the league that I actually look at. And we had a little platform on our college iPad that we had the ability to watch almost every single football game. So guys from different teams that I necessarily haven't had a bigger name as those guys that I named, but I always constantly would see what I could take from their game and add to mine as well. So yeah.
Great. So, again, like we said, I mean, been at Rutgers there for a while. I believe you had a really, good 2019 outing. 2020 was kind of, yeah. But then, obviously we had the opportunity with the pandemic for you to come back, for another year. So, talk to me about that decision and all of that, and really what went into it.
Right. Well, my Rutgers career was definitely a kind of an interesting one. We kind of went through two different coaching staffs, and the guys at Rutgers, the younger guys, the guys in my class endured a whole bunch of things that I feel like anybody in a college football world haven't endured at all. So going through two different staffs, it was definitely a culture shock, and it was definitely something that you will learn from. 2019 being my biggest year, finishing off with 104 tackles. We had an excellent linebacker coach. Shout out to Coach Andy Boo, actually. He's at Illinois. And, he brought out the best in me. That was my best debut that I played. Being a young guy, I played my freshman year, played a little bit more my sophomore year, then junior, senior, and that last year, that super senior year, I had the opportunity to start for 3 years, having 30 career starts and having 293 career tackles. I was definitely something. But COVID kind of, shifted the world, not just the football world, but shifted the world in general. Things started to get a little hectic with them pushing back the season, you being able to deal with COVID along with dealing with football and school on top of that. So it definitely was a little hiccup, and it was definitely a little shake up in the career. But, we stayed strong. We still managed to fight through and just finish off a good career at Rutgers University.
Yeah, and one of the good things about you and your career is you were named team captain. So, talk to me about you as a leader of that defense there. So, just tell me about you and your leadership, skill set and that sort of thing.
Right. 2019, I was fortunate to be elected captain of the Rutgers Far Night football team, and it was actually the 150th anniversary of college football when that occurred. So it was definitely something to be proud of. But it was big, man. Just having the ability to lead the young guys, lead everybody on the team, and just being able to just be that energy within the locker room, just to continue to fight and play hard and do your thing on the field. It was definitely an experience to remember. And regardless of the captain spot, whatever, when I first came in my freshman year, I always wanted to be one of those guys that people look to, the energy on the team, one of those guys that the rest of the team respected. So I just feel like that was a great opportunity. And I feel like that was something I'll remember forever, and just being a part of my career and just being able to be named the captain.
Awesome. So I mean, obviously, again, like we had mentioned, I mean, you being a captain there for a while, and closing out your career there at Rutgers, and once that was over with, I mean, you had the opportunity for an All-Star event. You went down to the Tropical Bowl. So talk to me a little bit about that experience, if you don't mind. Maybe some stories, from that week.
Right. The Tropical Bowl, having the opportunity to go down there to showcase my talent, it was definitely, an opportunity I remember forever. I mean, I've seen a lot of guys, getting the invites to the Hula Bowl. I've seen the Senior Bowl. One of my good friends, Bo Melton, he got invited to the Senior Bowl. Shout out to him doing his thing right now. And I was really curious. I was like, you know what? Like, I'm excited for all these guys, waiting for my opportunity to get a chance. And that's when the Tropical Bowl came out. I went down there. I started off the game. I performed really well. I was able to showcase my talent, meet a lot of different people, and just have the ability to just show that I'm one of the best linebackers in the draft, and to be able to showcase my talents. And I always say, there's no missed opportunities. You got to take advantage of all the opportunities you were given, and that was something I definitely took advantage of, and wanted to showcase my talent and show what I had to do.
Great. And also, I mean, obviously, during an event like that, I mean, you have the ability to connect with people, build new relationships. So, was there maybe some guys that you were able to connect with, or meet for maybe the first time? Because I mean, obviously, you're playing against guys from all over the country. So, any sort of relationships there that you built with the players, or maybe even the coaching staff?
Right. One guy I remember, one of the only guys I kind of remember specifically is my roommate, Tyrone Hill. He actually played at Buffalo, then he ended up transferring to Washington State. Really good dude, plays corner in a safety position. He performed really well in the game as well. And he's actually from Jersey. So big shout out to him. He was a great dude, and I love the way he plays the game. And, I can't wait to see him in the future do his thing on the football field. So.
Gotcha. And also obviously with events like that, you get a chance to maybe sit down with some, NFL scouts. They talk to you, do those interviews. I mean, chat with me for just a little bit, maybe about those interview experiences, and maybe any sort of story that you want to share about that.
I mean, I met with various teams, just discussing my just myself, honestly, just like kind of interviews like this, getting to know me, getting to know, what I like, what I love about the game, what I think about the game, my decisions on and off the field, how I look at defenses, where do I fit in certain defenses, and what I think my strengths and weaknesses are. So it's like a typical interview as you do with anybody. But it was definitely cool just to see how teams look at you, see how teams observe you, and see how teams will look at you as far as you fitting into their system. And it was definitely a great opportunity meeting with them, and I appreciate all the opportunities and me just talking to them and them getting to know me. So yeah, it was a good weekend.
Great. Any sort of awkward or question maybe that somebody threw your way, like anything that you could recall in that regard?
Nah, I can't really say any awkward questions. I mean, I feel like all questions are kind of like standard. I mean, it just depends on where you answer them. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it wasn't no awkward questions that kind of stood out.
Okay, okay. I figure sometimes people try and throw you some like curveball question that it's kind of like if you were like a fruit, like what would you be, or something stupid like that. I mean, people have some psychological questions sometimes that they just got to throw at people. So I just kind of figured I'd check to see if you got that while you're down there. So. Um, let's talk about some of your best moments. I mean, obviously, again, they're at Rutgers for a while. Facing really a lot of great talent throughout the years. Are there some moments, or perhaps some games or plays that just kind of stick out in your memory?
Right. Honestly, just the biggest moment is just kind of having the ability to be the leader on the team, the older guy, and just seeing that all those younger guys that you've been playing with, all those younger guys that you've been coaching, all those younger guys that you just been helping develop in the young men, just being able to go out there and ball. It was a great opportunity when I was a senior there, leaving off, and just seeing all the guys that came in, making a little mistakes and just being freshmen, being able to come up and step up major ways in a game. Like Tyrene Powell is one of those young linebackers. Deion Jennings is one of those young linebackers I'm really proud of and looking forward to see next season. So just being able to be a senior and look back and you see that you help those guys develop and them stepping up and to the plate and make sure they're doing their thing. And of course, all the wins and everything are very important, but I think the little minor moments and just having the ability to be a leader and look back and see that you develop those young guys to the players they are today was probably the biggest thing for me. So yeah.
What about in how you personally have developed over the years? I mean, if we were able to maybe go back in time a little bit, give some advice to your high school self. I mean, what sort of advice would you tell your high school self in order to allow him to, maybe perhaps develop in the way that you have, or maybe just, give him some expectation as to what to expect. So, what sort of advice would you tell him?
The biggest advice I probably tell myself is just always stay locked in and just know that it's a marathon, not a sprint. The biggest thing in college football, people always look forward too far ahead, like, oh, I can't wait to get to the NFL at this time. I can't wait to get 500 tackles. I can't wait to do certain things. You got to understand college is a long time. The minimum you could be there is 3 years. The max is, honestly, with COVID and everything else going on, you could be there 5 to 6 years. You never know. So it's really just a marathon, not a sprint. Take each and every day, one step at a time, learn everything that you possibly can from everybody around you, and just understand this is a once in a lifetime opportunity. You don't get a chance to do these things twice. So make sure you take everything in, make sure you take the best knowledge that you can from every single person, and make sure you make the best opportunity of what you're given. So I feel like that's the biggest thing I probably have a takeaway from what I learned in college.
Great. And I mean, obviously, also a lot of coaches pouring into you over the years. I mean, is there maybe a lesson that you learned from one of those coaches, whether it be back in high school or there at Rutgers, that, just kind of still sticks with you today?
Yeah, the biggest thing, Coach Boo left me a lot of lessons, definitely, coming out of there and just coaching at Rutgers for those years that we had him. And the biggest things is just, keep the main thing the main thing. I know you have school and everything going on. Guys want to have social lives in college and everything, but you're here for football and you're here to maximize your opportunities on and off the field. And having a guy like that being our coach is definitely was truly a blessing. And I learned a lot from him, but kind of keeping the main thing is staying focused on your journey with college football.
Great. I do want to get a chance to meet Tyshon Fogg, outside of sports, maybe just, in your personal life or what have you. So
Sure.
talk to me a little bit of, something about yourself, something fun, unique. hobbies or whatever. So one of the interesting things about you that I found out is that you're a four-time academic All Big Ten. So what did you get your degree in there at Rutgers?
Right. Yeah, I absolutely love school. That's kind of like a crazy thing to hear from an athlete, but I love school. The ability to go to Rutgers and just be able to get my degree in 4 years as I planned was a spectacular opportunity. I graduated with an undergraduate degree in human resource management and business administration. And I'm currently right now getting my graduate degree in human resource management as well. I'm really excited to get that underway and be able to get 2 degrees and maximize my opportunities. But besides school, and also I had a four-time academic All Big Ten, three-time distinguished academic All Big Ten. And another thing I do on my free time, I like creating YouTube videos about my path to the draft, just getting to know me a little bit more, having the opportunity to expand my platform and giving people, fans, subscribers, and everything, just the ability to understand me a little bit more before you start to follow my content and everything. Because I feel like the biggest thing is people really don't know people through social media. So this is kind of like a platform for people just to understand me a little bit more. So besides YouTube, I have a dog. I have two dogs actually. I love my dogs. I'm a big advocate on dogs, pit bulls specifically. Those are my babies, so I love pit bulls. So school, YouTube, dogs, and honestly, just studying are kind of my main things. Of course, I'm interested in a lot more, but right now, that's kind of been my focus while I was in college and kind of right now as well. It kind of keeps me honed and it kind of keeps me sane and just, ability to go out there and perform the best way I possibly can. And it's fun to me. So, yeah.
Cool. You were talking about some of those videos there you post on YouTube. Do we just kind of go on there and just type in your name, or is it under any other sort of name there?
Right. Actually, I kind of post about it at times. You can just hop on YouTube, type in Tyshon Fogg. All my videos will pop up. The link is in my bio on Twitter and Instagram. And you could just also type it in on Google and it should pop right up. So be sure to subscribe and show love to the channel. I definitely appreciate it.
Awesome. Hey, obviously, right now we're kind of in, draft mode. I mean, that's going to come up here shortly. There's a lot going on right now. I mean, tell me a little bit about maybe where you're training at and maybe some of the coaches that you're working with.
Yeah, right now I'm actually training at Game Face in Boca Raton, and the main guy I'm working with is Deventry Jordan. Shout out to Game Face, shout out to Lifetime for giving me the best experience I possibly can and just maximizing my opportunities. But Deventry Jordan is a well-known guy in the Upper East Coast. He's actually based out of Minnesota, and he's an excellent guy. He's been getting me right ever since I came down here on January 5th. Eric is actually one of the other trainers, and Jay. And they've been doing a spectacular job. The gains that I've seen already in the short time that I was there was definitely something that I was looking forward to, and that's why I wanted to get down here. But I'm training at Game Face in Boca Raton.
Great. And when is that pro day? When is that coming up?
The pro day is actually March 24th, so be sure to support and tune into that. So I'm pretty sure there'll be videos and content out on that as well. So yeah.
Great. Can you maybe perhaps give me any sort of preview to that pro day? Like, do you know where you are with some certain things, like some of those measurables, like your 40, your vert, or what have you?
Right now we don't have any specific numbers. Everything was kind of like baseline, but I mean, I got some goals that I want to get to. Like honestly, I'm a natural competitor, so all the numbers that I give is going to be the top of any category, regardless of position, regardless of who it is. So I'm just trying to, get the max number I possibly can, be the fastest, strongest, and the quickest linebacker within the draft or any position. So I can tell you that, but specific numbers, I don't really know.
Hey, you can't blame me for trying to ask. So, I mean, some guys have some inkling at, maybe where they're at. Like, I mean, I know that there's a lot of things going on. People really love numbers. I mean, one thing that obviously you have going for you is, yeah, you got some decent size there as a linebacker. So, you have a guy like yourself, again, like you were saying, like 6'2", 240 pounds. I mean, can play some inside or outside, linebacker, depending on the scheme. So obviously you got that going for you. I do want to give you one last moment as we close this down. I want you to look into that camera and I want you to address all those scouts out there and give them your pitch as to maybe perhaps why they should draft you, sign you, and what would you bring to their franchise. So go ahead and hit them with that.
Right. Tyshon Fogg, 6'2", 240-pound linebacker, and I'm a guy that's gonna come in each and every single day and bring the energy, bring the competitive excellence, bring the winning attitude, and most importantly, be a leader within that team and gain the respect of my teammates in order to win. High competitive drive, high spirit, consistent player, great in tackling, great in coverage, and just the ability to learn and just gain a whole bunch of knowledge to be the best player I possibly could be. I feel as though I could fit into any scheme on all 32 teams. I have the ability to learn very quickly, and just honestly, I have the underdog mentality. I'm not the type of guy that needs a crazy situation just to be ordered to prevail. I seen the bottom, I seen the top, and I know how to survive from both of them. And I just seem like a guy that been through what I've been through in college and life. I just have the ability to survive and be able to excel in whatever situation I could possibly come from. So it's that regards of being drafted high, being drafted low, or not being drafted at all. I know I'm just one of those guys that's going to go get it and just make the best of my opportunities and ultimately be one of the best players to ever play the game. And that's the goal always. So just a guy like me, just ready to ball out and do my thing because I love the game of football and hopefully just give the opportunity to do my thing for a very long time. So yeah.
Great. I mean, obviously, like we've talked about. I mean, you have a guy, pretty decent size. I mean, pretty high IQ when it comes to the game of football. I mean, pretty smart guy. Out, off the field as well. So, you get a guy who's, worked in a couple different systems with different coaches, and been a leader amongst your peers. So, I mean, very respected there. And obviously, being able to bring that sort of attitude and mentality to any ball club. So. Love that about you. I do feel like someone needs to take a chance on you. Maybe perhaps go back and watch some of that film. So best of luck to you with everything you got going on. All right, bud.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, man.
Sure, no problem. Again, I have with me Tyshon Fogg. He's a linebacker out of Rutgers. Definitely check him out.
For sure. Appreciate it, guys.